זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מקוטרת מור ולבונה. מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מקוטרת מור ולבונה. כל דודי נזבר מדלג על הערים, מקפץ על הגבעות. כל דודי נזבר, כל דודי נזבר מדלג על הערים, מקפץ על הגבעות. כל דודי נזבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מקוטרת מור ולבונה. מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מקוטרת מור ולבונה. כל דודי נזבר מדלג על הערים, מקפץ על הגבעות. כל דודי נזבר, כל דודי נזבר מדלג על הערים, מקפץ על הגבעות. כל דודי נזבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מקוטרת מור ולבונה. מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מקוטרת מור ולבונה. כל דודי נזבר מדלג על הערים, מקפץ על הגבעות. כל דודי נזבר, כל דודי נזבר מדלג על הערים, מקפץ על הגבעות. כל דודי נזבר, כל דודי נזבר, כל דודי נזבר. שמאלות תחת לראשי, בימינו תחבקני. 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 כל דודי נזבר, כל דודי נזבר, כל דודי.
red or green exit lights over the door. There are exits on each side of the bima. Each side of the bima behind the curtains. There are also exits at the back of the social hall over there. At the side of the sanctuary are exits to the main doors through which you enter, and exit doors on either side of the lobby. There's a fire extinguisher and a defibrillator device near the water fountain in the hall, and another fire extinguisher inside the doors to the sanctuary where you enter. Please take a minute and look and find the exit that is nearest to you. In the unlikely event that we must evacuate from the sanctuary, we will meet at the southwest corner of the parking lot, away from the door. Thank you very much for your attention, and Shabbat Shalom.
So much, Gary. I'm going to welcome you to Shabbat on Temple Bush. Rabbi Jonathan is not available. It's not with us this evening, but I'm going to ask our wonderful pianist, Randy Polaroid, to just play a little interlude melody while I go and check something with our streaming staff feature correctly and like that. But in the meantime, let's just Shabbat Shalom. So sorry for the glitch. I know it's not perfect, but I hope that you will continue to join with us and celebrate Shabbat with us. And you know, the Ephraim Kurtz wrote an incredibly valuable book called The Spirituality of Imperfection. So we are living, breathing examples of that this evening as we welcome Shabbat imperfectly, but knowing that the spirit of Shabbat is with us and is present in this room and this holy congregation that's here with us this evening and all of you out there. So we're going to start on page 24 in our Siddur, as I mentioned in the chat. An electronic version of our Siddur is available at CCR Press. Just Google CCAR Press, and you can get either a downloadable version or what they call a flip book version of the Siddur, our Erev Shabbat service on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem. So for those of you in the sanctuary, I invite you to rise as we bless our Shabbat lights. In our Siddur, we are on page 2. The candles are lit because we did so during our family service. And let's read together top of page 3. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu Each Erev Shabbat at this time, we take a moment to take a deep breath, to reflect on the week that has just passed, on its challenges, on its difficulties, but also on some of its joyous moments. I pray that there were joyous moments for you somewhere this week. I know we often tend to look back in sadness at some of the things that are going on in our world, but it's essential that we retain the ability to experience joy even in life's difficult moments. So let's just take a few minutes to reflect on that quietly and silently, and then I think we'll be ready to welcome our Shabbat bride, our Shabbat queen, Father of the Untitled Chapter. remind you at home to face the entrance to your location and to welcome the Shabbat food. Oive shalom, ater balam, gam simcha, utzorah, o chamunei, am segula, oiv Allah, oiv Remain standing for Katzikavish and Barak. I'd like to invite Noah Hammond to lead us upcoming Bar Mitzvah in a couple minutes. Turn page 28 and we read the words of
Adonai Hamdulillah, Baruch Adonai Hamdulillah Elohim Ha'ed. Praise Adonai to whom praises due forever. Praise be Adonai to whom praises due now and forever. Standing bottom of page 30 in the Hebrew.
Aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari, Aravi. We continue on page 34 with
Okay. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod. Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is a God, Adonai is God. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Yevod, Shem Yevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Yevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Asher Hosei Yirchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim V'yotachem Ani Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Oh, I'm sorry, you could have been seated at the beginning of that. Sorry, I didn't inform you of that. As I mentioned at the, so sit. So sit, 19. I mentioned at the beginning of the family service, actually it was a little question and answer period with the kids who were there. What, if anything special, is happening a week from tonight? Any of the children with us here want to answer that question? Anything special happening next Friday night? Raise your hands. Noah, what's happening special next Friday night? It's Passover! Pesach begins a week from tonight. Because of that, we will not be here in the sanctuary for regular Shabbat services. We will be online for a special 5 o'clock edition of Rabbi and Temple Live, just to get the holiday going. But yeah, next week is the beginning of our festival of Passover, one of the 3 great festivals in the Jewish calendar. And it is all because of what happened that we recount in the tefillah that you will find on page 40. Mi chamocha, who is like you among all the gods that are worshipped Adonai, because this is the song of the sea that was sung when the Israelites crossed the sea after having been freed from slavery by Pharaoh. And we count this moment twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, and I invite you to join me. To page 43, read the bottom paragraph together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long, evening shadows. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence our acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare us for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace. For all we love, over our Jerusalem. Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. So in just a moment, we'll turn to page 44 for our Shamru, our prayer of gratitude for the gift of Shabbat. But I'm going to take just 2 minutes to see if I can help with the little technical difficulty that seems to be occurring. So I will be right back, and Randy will give us another round of his piano artistry. But we're going to continue here in the sanctuary with some room on the top.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to everybody out there. I don't know if the Cyber Shul people can witness what we're doing right now, but in any event, the people that are here, Shabbat shalom. I'm going to jump a little bit ahead, and since Paul was talking about the oncoming holiday of Pesach, Passover, so I'm going to play a piece in that vein. The words of the song you're very familiar with, Go Down Moses, adapted from a passage in the book of Exodus, describes the hardships of the Israelites under Pharaoh and their exodus from the land of Egypt. And these words were set to one of the most famous African-American spirituals of all time. Parallels of Moses imploring Pharaoh to let my people go, and the plight of African-Americans in their quest for freedom during the slaveholding years in America is obvious. So this is Go Down Moses, African-American spiritual in a kind of jazz pop version. So feel free to clap along if you so desire.
I think I left my papers back. Oh, what a night. So I know that you may be suspicious if you're watching online and you can now hear me, that the only reason you can hear me now is because I'm going to do quite a bit of talking in honor of the fact that today begins Shabbat Hagadol, the big Shabbat. Why is it the big Shabbat? Well, traditionally, as some of you may know, in the old country, and I would say in most countries where Jews are found up until, about maybe 100 years or so ago, rabbis really did not do services. Rabbis were scholars, certainly, judges, wonderful teachers, counselors, all sorts of things, but they didn't do services. That was the cantor's job, or the shliach tzibur, or the service leader, whatever they were called in whatever community they appeared in. Some places they were even called the chacham, the wise guy. But cantors led the service, or learned lay people. And the rabbi only showed up twice a year. One was the Shabbat in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, showed up to give a teaching, that is, at services. And the other was Shabbat Hagadol. So some say it's called the Great Shabbat, or the Big Shabbat, or the Long Shabbat, or the full Shabbat, because that's when the rabbi did all the talking. Well, rabbi's not here, as we mentioned before. He's away this week. And I'm going to try not to talk too long, but I do have a wonderful message that I received today from my Rosh Yeshiva, the leader of the seminary where I was trained, the Academy for Jewish Religion, California, in Los Angeles. And I won't share all of it because, of course, it is long, but I do want to share a core teaching of it. And he kind of begins by talking about last Shabbat, as most of us do. We want to transition from what was to what is or what will be. And last Shabbat, if you remember, it was Mitzorah of Tazri and Mitzorah, which is those wonderful parshiot which are on the surface about skin disease and house mold and all of those other things. But one of the teachings that comes out of that is that the reason that such blemishes exist may have something to do with a spiritual malady rather than a physical one. May manifest itself in a physical reality, but it indicates a spiritual problem, and that often that spiritual problem may be tied to what we call in Hebrew lashon hara, evil tongue or evil speech. We know this because of the story about Miriam, Moses' sister in the Bible, who comes down with this skin disease, which in the Torah is called tzara'at, maybe more commonly known today as psoriasis. I see a lot of, maybe it's because, my age group and they're targeting me with certain messages on the TV all the time. But there's a lot of commercials about tzara'at or psoriasis that I watch on cable or that I'm exposed to on cable. But Miriam had it, and the reason that she had it is because she had an incident that the Torah relates where she exhibited lashon hara, evil speech, and she was not, and she needed to be to both be repentant for that and go through some rituals of purification before she was relieved. And in fact, in our Misha Beirach prayer, in the text of our Misha Beirach prayer, we use the line El na refana la, which is what Moses prays to God, that his sister be cured of this malady. So as Rabbi Mel Gottlieb, who I mentioned, it was my Rosh Yeshiva, shared with our community earlier today, it is the purification of speech that is required of us on Pesach. In the unfolding of the Haggadah, the telling of one's story leads to liberation. However, speech is a symptom of an internal reality, so we must spend the whole night descending and reciting the story of our past. As the Haggadah relates, the more we retell it, the more we are praised. Our sages stayed up to the wee hours of the morning retelling the story and in the process purifying their speech. Thus, this should not be a superficial retelling. It is a serious unpacking of our history that takes time and effort. During the Seder, we talk, we purify our speech, and we become more conscious through our expression and dialogue. All the children and the different archetypes that are mentioned in the Seder, in the Haggadah story, the wise one, the wicked one, the simple one, the one who's not educated enough to know what to ask, they get a chance to express their way of seeing things. And equally important, they must listen to other ways of seeing things and expanding their consciousness. Freedom takes preparation, work, so we are praised for staying up the whole night in this task. A slave, by the way, has lost hope, the power of speech and expression, that which makes one most human. So Pesach is how we become free again, purifying our vessel from ego in order to be able to speak again from soul and wholeness. We must dig deep into our narrow places, our tightness, our Mitzrayim, the Hebrew word for Egypt, to discover that which we are running away from and how we are ruled by ego fears, jealousies, need for recognition, etc. How we have been only seeing our own innocence and the evil of others. We see how we have not taken responsibility due to our lack of awareness, fears, and shame. This talking out brings the unconscious repressions that we hide from, that we fear. It brings them out. It's not easy to change and become free, but it is the most liberating feeling when we return to our true calling, connecting with our unique soul within. Furthermore, on Pesach, we have rituals that help us to find this liberation. We eat lots of food, purifying the mouth eating for a mitzvah. We make the matzot into a mitzvah. I'm going to interrupt here. You know, one of the most interesting things that I've read this week was a whole teaching about how Judaism has really elevated the act of eating, right? We don't realize it because we eat all the time, right? But we are directed to always be conscious of the act of eating. We start by, being, it's a mitzvah to wash our hands before a meal. We say a bracha, not over we use the food as an opportunity to recognize the holiness all around us. We'll do that in just a few minutes when we say the motzi over the bread or the kiddush over the wine. The kiddush sanctifies the day. The blessing over the bread gives us an opportunity to thank God for the miracle of creation. Anyway, we see how we have not taken responsibility due to our lack of awareness, fears, and shame. Oh, that was the wrong paragraph. We eat lots of food, purifying the mouth eating for a mitzvah. We make matzvah into a mitzvah. We slay the god of Egypt, the paschal lamb, publicly, showing that we are no longer afraid of the enemy. We take chametz out and choose matzah instead. Chametz is bread, and bread rises, symbolizing arrogance, ego bloatedness. Matzah remains low, thin. It symbolizes humility. So through speaking and relating, we move from the realm of the enslaved to the realm of freedom, resulting from humility. We move from a place of tightness, from Mitzrayim, to a place of liberation, to Israel, a place of doing the right thing, singing out to God, wrestling and partnering with the presence of our Creator. And we discover soul, and we remove our proclivity to speak Lashon Hara as we move to a place of freedom. Only when we liberate our inner self can we go out to attempt to elevate the world. Our suffering in Egypt was a necessary preparation to become a spiritual people. The Exodus teaches us this very day that slavery can and must be overcome. We can journey from this state of enslavement into a redeemed world. The unnatural state of exile and crisis must become an aberration, a temporary one that leads to the opportunity for growth through our efforts and God's grace. Pesach, according to our tradition, is the very time when the future redemption will occur. Let us all work to make this so, joining together with all the power of love that the Holy One has bestowed upon us, and make the future redemption right now. We say together, Amen. Thank you very much to Rabbi Mel. We are going to take a moment to turn our hearts to those who are in need of healing. If you turn to page 253 in our Siddur, you'll find our Misha Berach text there. We're going to, Randy and I are going to offer one that's based on this text. And in just a few moments, to let you know what's going on, I'll be just taking a walk down the center aisle. If you have a name that you would like to add to our list for healing, please do so when I pass your row. O Holy One, blessed our mothers, blessed our fathers from ancient days. Bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. Akadosh Baruch Hu, Yemalei Rachamim Aleichem, Lehachzikam Ulrapeotam, Leishlach Lahem Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, B'tok Sha'ar Cholei Yisrael. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. We ask for healing for Rebecca Gilman, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Toback, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakoff, Connie Shapiro, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Judith Bosworth, Kathy Brewster, Jennifer Rudin, Marion Schneiders, Brad Holland, Beatrice Cadden, Meg Silton, Serena Postal, Bobby Kay, Marilyn Freeman, Robert Strober, Marilyn Lubarski, Ellery Einstein, Patricia Kramer, Esther Bespris, Joan Morse, Nomi Kravitz, Craig Sachs, Simon Saul, Blair Pollock, Myra White, David Grossman, Lori Snyder, Jeremy Noller, Charity Rezada, Mike Klein, Lily Morrison, Sarah Kojman, Richard Handley, Barbara Fass, Joe Beasy, Burton Gershman, Carol Berlant, Janet Barong, Paula Steinbach, David Bush, Howard Bush, Sandy Aaron, Dana Sundin, Lawson Spicer, Mark Fenton, Toyasha Sabag, Harav Shmuel Ben Esther, Gloria Foster, Ava Bespris, and Akadosh Baruch Hu,
V'malei rachamim aleichem. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. I'd like to invite Gary Gilbert to add to the wonderful information he shared at the beginning of our service that probably no one except you or those in the sanctuary heard, to share some announcements with us.
Thank you, Cantor. Shabbat Shalom. Let me get my notes here. First, thank you to Cantor Bush, serving this evening in multiple roles. As Cantor, as teacher, as chief technology troubleshooter, which you all did so admirably. Thank you also to Dr. Randy Polivoy for helping us to get into the Passover spirit. And thank you to Don Pollock for filling in tonight and handling our technological apparatus. And also thank you to Noah Heyman for your participation tonight. It is wonderful to have you and your mother and your brother here tonight. Shabbat Shalom to you. Thank you to tonight's greeters, our cadre of Candy Fisher, Kylie Sykes, Dina Benjamin, Sharon Regalado, Lori Bohr, Deborah Norton, and Jack Warshaw. After the service, for those of us who are here in the sanctuary, we will gather in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, and a chance to greet one another. And now just for a few announcements. So as Cantor has already mentioned, next Shabbat, next Friday evening is Passover, and soon after Passover, then we turn our attention to Yom HaShoah, the commemoration of the Shoah, of the Holocaust. Our Yom HaShoah commemoration will take place on April 24th, where we will have our program of the Search for Safety, which will be happening both here, live in person, and also available online. Following Yom HaShoah, we celebrate Israel Independence Day with a wide variety of events sponsored by many of our temple committees, including Adult Jewish Learning, Brotherhood, the Women of TBI, and the Israel Committee. Events will run from April 20th to May 6th. Please consult your weekly e-blasts or the Kehillah for more information on the many, many events that will take place during those dates. And with that, I wish everyone a Zissen Pesach, a very happy and sweet Passover, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Gary. I do want to clarify one thing I said earlier, which regarding which services will be online and which services you may be missing. Gary mentioned, I mentioned, next Friday night, 5 p.m., virtual-only service with Rabbi and myself. However, I did not mention that Saturday morning at 10 a.m., we will have a Shabbat morning / Chag Pesach morning service here in the sanctuary. You're all invited to attend in person. We will also be online. Look for the links in your TBI emails, which were out today. They'll also will be on Facebook and YouTube as well. But you are invited to participate virtually on Zoom if you are available. The links, like I said, are in your TBI email. The same goes for the following Friday, which we consider to be the last day of Passover, the 7th day of Passover. We will have tefillah in the sanctuary, including Yizkor, memorial prayers, Friday morning. The date off the top of my head escapes me, but Friday morning, the last day of Pesach, also at 10 o'clock, also on our online platforms. And then that will be followed later that day by an Erev Shabbat, regular Erev Shabbat services online and in person, and we hope that you will join us. So thank you again, Gary, for sharing the other information. Let us turn in our Sidurim to page 283 for Aleinu. I invite us all to rise as the ark is open. And Don, if you would activate mic number 7, I will use that to open the ark. As I open the ark.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגאור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We take this moment to turn our hearts and our thoughts to those who have departed our community in recent days and in this time in seasons past. We particularly remember the recent deaths of Alan Silks, uncle of Dina Benjamin, and Norman Scharf, cousin of Adele Harris. We also remember the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Belle Cohen, Louis Cohen, Perry Dubin, Jan Aline Goldhammer, Herbert William Goldman, Sarah Leah Goldman, David Pontak, Paul Dubinsky, Mildred Eli, Antonio Granja, Lily Milstein, Sophie Reisner, Mary Louise Sage, Charlotte Singer, Miriam Brown, David Joseph Goodman, Sylvia Carr, Helen Kramer, Florence Landau, Harold Savage, Irma Singer, Ruth Tashman, Anna Ank, Sarah G. Brown, Lester Cook, Ida Taviu Feynman, Martin Greenstein, Catherine Pramel, Barbara Toole, Nancy Weinreb, Ann Cooper, Howard Herman, Rachela R. Horwitz, Louis Kerber, Frida Newman-Madorsky, Nina Marecki, Tilly Reichartz, Eddie Shapiro, Morton S. Kaloff, Adeline Addie Goodman, Susan Hudson, Sonia Liggett, Howard Schuman, Bronya Weiss, Cy Goldberg, David Greenbaum, Richard Levitt, and Sarah Ferguson. If you have a name that you would like to add to our list, I invite you to rise and share it with us at this time. If you're in a time of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, I invite you to rise at this time. And if it is your custom to rise in love and support of those who mourn, I invite you to do so as well as we join together for Kaddish on page 298, I believe. 294, thank you, Randy. 294. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayachon uvyomachon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav. Huya aseh shalom. Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all humankind. And we say together, amen. If you wouldn't mind, remain standing for our closing song, which you'll find in the last paragraph of page 321. I want to again thank Gary Gilbert, Randy Polivoy, all the volunteers who pitched in this evening, to our all-around go-to guy, Nathan, for his help, to Sally Loeb for her help, and want to thank Don Pollock, who did the best he could under a little bit of a difficult circumstances when we had some problems, which I profusely apologize for those of you who are used to our pristine audio online. We will do whatever we need to do so that we don't have to face that challenge again, and you can feel the warmth of the embrace that we send your way every Friday night and every time that we are online. So we close with Be'ado, bottom of page 321, after which I invite those who are here to join us in the social hall for Kiddush and Motzi.
Be'ado av kidduchi ve'ein ishan ve'aira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your Be'ado av kidduchi ve'ein ishan ve'aira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Last thing I will say before we leave our friends on Zoom is that I know the reservations have closed for our congregational Seder, but I know someone who knows somebody who might be able to help if somehow you think you've missed the wonderful opportunity to join us and quite a number of your fellow TBIers. Second night Seder next week. So call the office if you are really interested, and we will do our best to accommodate you and add you to our hopefully not too long a wait list. Shabbat Shalom. Have a great week and Chag Pesach Sameach if I don't see you until we meet again on Saturday morning.